to the republic for which it stands,
one nation, under God,
indivisible,
with liberty and justice for all.
Guns, self-defense, concealed carry. This is the Patriot Defense Podcast. From the war room in Idaho's high desert, here's your host, Todd Echols.
And I am back once again. It is a Sunday, almost Sunday afternoon. We're still kind of in the morning hours. I think it's about 11:32. And I am tucked away in the war room somewhere in the high desert of southern Idaho. And just got to start this off saying I'm always kind of concerned about my sound. I think my sound and my audio is pretty good. I kind of pride myself in trying to keep it that way. But I came out here a little late, and it is rather cold out right now. I think it was about 11 degrees when I woke up this morning. So, it was pretty cold. I know that. It was below 20. 11 might be a little too low, but it's cold out, and it's cold in here. And I've sat in here now for 45 minutes with both heaters running, mostly because I want to try to warm my equipment up, right? This fancy board that I spent a lot of money on, get it warmed up before I just fire it up in the cold. And, I'm a little older now, and I move a little slower in the cold. So what I'm saying is I got an extra heater running, and it doesn't show that it's the audio is showing up on the board, but if you hear it, that is what it is, and I am not shutting it off because it is cold in here. So I'm looking forward to, I don't mind doing the podcast, but I'm looking forward to kind of getting it done and heading back inside where it's a little warm. Right now, my wife's in there in the house cleaning the house right now, and yeah, it's a good time not to be in the house is what I'm saying. If you're married, you got a girlfriend, a wife, you kind of know what I'm talking about. It's not a great time to be in the house. Just stay out of the way. That's kind of what I'm doing. I left my 11-year-old son in there and said, good luck to you, bud, and just left him in there. So I don't know. We'll see if he's still alive when I get in there. Just joking. You guys know that. I'm just joking. So what do we got going on here? What have I done since then? I've had a few private classes this last week, and they've been nice. Just people learning brand new firearms, brand new shooters. Got to get those fundamentals and all those basics out of the way. I did set up a class. This is going to be a fun class. I'm really looking forward to this class. I got a class coming up. I think it's I want to say it's next month, I believe. And this student reached out to me. She's come here in the past, learned how to shoot her handguns, and unfortunately, she had a family member pass away, and she inherited a bunch of guns, a whole list. She showed me the whole list, and she wants to learn how to, she got a bunch of guns, different ammo, and stuff like that. She wants to know what goes with what, and how each of them work, and they're different rifles and handguns and revolvers and different things. And she went ahead and booked 4 hours with me, and we're going to go through all this stuff and shoot. It's going to be a little bit of a different class, right? I mean, she knows how to shoot handguns, but she's still pretty new to firearms. So we're just going to go and say, this goes with this goes with this is what you use this for, and go out and, fire a handful of rounds out of each of these. And there's quite the pile that the student that she's bringing with her. So I'm kind of looking forward to that. I got the list and I'm looking at it, and there's some different firearms that I don't get hands on every day, that I don't see every day. So I'm kind of excited about this. It's gonna be a different class. Now, this is why I'm in business. I'm in business to help people, but it's days like this where I'm getting paid to do something that doesn't seem like work. And I'm really excited about it. That's when everything that I've done over the last handful of years is starting to pay off, and I get to have classes like that. So I'm pretty excited about that. What else I got going on here? So this is the SHOT Show season, and if you haven't listened to all my podcasts, I encourage you to look back and check out some of the old podcasts I did on SHOT Show. I do SHOT Show episodes every year, and it's not like your typical SHOT Show episode, right? You're cruising around on social media, on Facebook, on Instagram, on whatever, and you come across that person who's actually at SHOT Show and they're giving you live updates, right? That's not the kind of SHOT Show podcast that I do. I typically complain because I'm never invited to SHOT Show. I do enjoy SHOT Show. I've never have been, but I enjoy this time of year because we got new firearms that are quite possibly, well, this is when they introduce the new firearms, right? And it's always interesting to see, are we going to have something new and exciting? Are we going to have something different? You just don't know. And this is the time of year where we find out what's coming our way. And, I always kind of sit here and think about what would I like to see? Well, one of my favorite firearm manufacturers, HK, right? They've got a few different guns out right now. They got the VP9A1 is what they're calling it. And then they got the CC9. I've talked plenty about those. So they kind of introduced those before before SHOT Show. And that's what some of the manufacturers do. So I'm kind of looking forward to those. I'm trying to see what other offerings that are out there that are going to be new. Like, what would I like to see? One of my new favorite guns, one of the higher end firearms that I own, is my Stealth Arms Platypus. And I love that gun. It shoots really well. Anyone I hand it to, just like, this thing is a dream to shoot. And it really is. And since I've received it, I've actually, made it better. I've changed out some different recoil springs and whatnot. And this thing is just flat shoot. Not like it ever was horrible, because it was not. But the thing is just a flat shooting son of a gun. Like, it really is. It really is. I've since added some, I got some like mag extensions and, kind of got fancy, threw a little color at it, right? On the mag extensions, they're bright blue now, and it just kind of looks cool. Like, I've posted pictures of it on social media. Absolutely love that gun. Right now, I'm currently carrying the P30, the HK P30. And so I'm not going to switch guns for a little while anyway. That Platypus it is a larger gun. I don't have the 5-inch barrel. It's like a 4 1/4 or something like that. It is a larger firearm, and I do have a concealed carry appendix carry holster for it, and I have carried it around a little bit, and it's doable. Like, it really is doable. You have to dress around it a little bit differently because it's a big gun, right? But it's still carryable. Well, I think that as we look forward, now I haven't looked into this gun. It was pointed out to me and I've seen pictures, but Springfield Armory just came out with a 2011, right, which is what the Platypus is. They brought out a G19 sized 2011. That's where it's at, man. And I would think that sometime, in fact, discussing this with Magnum a little bit, and we think that we'll probably see Stealth Arms bring out a Platypus in the size of like a G19, one that's a little more practical, a little easier to actually carry on your person. And so I'm really looking forward to that. If they do that, I will probably end up with one as quickly as I possibly can. Typically, those things are custom order from them, so it takes a little while. But as soon as I can get my hands on one of those, if they bring one of those out, as soon as they bring them out, I will get my hands on one, because I love that gun, and it is a dream to shoot. I shoot it well. I shoot it fast. It's flat shooting, and I would love to see what they do with one in the size of a G19. So now, one of the main competitors, I guess the main competitors of the Stealth Arms Platypus would be the Staccato. Staccato came out first. Super expensive. Nice guns. They run. They're good. Nice firearms. But the mags were really expensive, and they were like $3,600 guns. Whereas the Platypus that I purchased was $2,000, and I think the Platypus would give it a great run for the money. The best part about the Platypus is it takes, like I've mentioned, Glock magazines, right? Well, now Staccato has brought out a firearm, a 2011, that now accepts Glock magazines. And I don't know what the price of it is. I have to look. But it's interesting to kind of see the development of this. Now, I haven't seen, it's been a little while, right? I mean, back in the day, I'd see development of these firearm companies, these striker-fired carry style guns. You'd see it once, someone would do something, someone would do something else. And it was just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And then it got to a point, it was like, they can change a little bit, but how much more different can they actually be? And then they all started kind of bringing out the same types of gun, their version of it in like the size, like a carry size, one that everyone wants. And now you're starting to see the rise of the 2011s, and you're seeing it more and more and more. These 1911 action style guns, but they're double stacked 9mm. And now they're still kind of expensive, certain ones, but let's use the Glock magazine. Let's make it a little more affordable that way. And now you're seeing them get a little smaller, hopefully going toward the G19 style gun. I know Kimber just I forget what it's called, but they had a big release or big I don't know if it's quite released yet, but they had a big article that came out talking about their 2011. I think it's called the what is that called? Like the 24K or 2, I don't know what it is, but I haven't had one in my hand, and I'm always kind of judgy when it comes to Kimber items because they were good, and then I've seen nothing but bad from them. And now they've brought this out. Are they upping their game? Are they stepping back into the light? Is it going to be a good gun? But they're coming out with this 2011, and I think 2011s is where it's at. And when you can get a really good 2011 that is decent and affordable, and unfortunately, what I'm going to tell you right now when I say decent and affordable is my price, as far as when I look at firearms, like I don't mind buying an inexpensive gun, one that's still good but really, really affordable. But let's just be honest. Over the last how many years, gun prices have slowly kind of edged up, right? Like when I bought my VP9, I don't know, 6 or 7 years ago or whatever it was, that firearm was, I can't even remember exactly what. I think it was like $600, and I was like, ouch. Like that's a pretty high price gun. It's HK. It's their first striker fired gun. Like that is, I'm paying for it now, right? But now that gun is like $800. Like I want to say that firearms have probably edged up there $200 to $300. Like the prices are getting up there so much as call me a gun snob, and it's not even that. Like I'll buy something under $1,000, but now you show me a gun and it's $1,100-$1,200. Like that's almost like nothing. That's like, oh yeah, that's what I would expect a decent gun to cost now. So getting into some quality. And I want to say I'm not getting to be a gun snob or I got to spend lots of money on a firearm, but I'm to the point now of instead of just buying a gun or a carry gun, I want to get what I want, right? And you see these 2011s that are coming out now. They're typically going to be all steel guns, pretty quality. And that's what you want when you're talking like a 2011, because to a certain extent, whenever you start throwing a 9mm round in a 1911 style action of a firearm, you end up with trouble. So just ask Kimber. You get guns that don't function, that jam up, whatever. Now they're running toward these 2011 style guns, double stack 9s instead of this big like single stack type thing, right? And you're still going to pay for it, right? You want a good gun that's going to function, but you're going to pay for it. And I think that I don't know. I think, and someone might roast me on this, right? But I think an entry-level 2011 that's going to run good is going to just plan on spending anywhere between $1,200 and $2,000. Like that's what it's going to be now. And it's interesting to see that the 2011s are starting to rise up. And to a certain extent, I kind of think that larger guns are coming back. Full-sized guns are coming back, and I kind of like that. I don't think the small guns are going to go away. They have their purpose. They have their place. I mean, I'm still considering and still wanting to get my hands on one of the little CC9s for certain types of carry, as far as like me running and wanting to be more lightweight. I'm not running with my platypus. I'm just not. The thing's heavy. I like it and I have no complaints, but it's heavy and I'm not going to run with it. If I'm just carrying a gun around and I'm not running and I'm out and about on the town or whatever, a bigger gun is fine, right? I'm not trying to run a mile in 7 minutes or run a mile in 8 minutes or 6:30 or whatever it is, right? I'm not having to worry about this massive gun weighing me down. So they still have their time and place, but I think you're going to start seeing guns get a little bit bigger. And speaking of new firearms, there's one that just Smith & Wesson actually released, and it's their 380 Bodyguard. They call it 380 Bodyguard 2.0. And it's pretty little, but it's got a longer grip. It's got a longer, skinny grip. And I wasn't ever a fan of their 380 Bodyguards in the past. They were just too tiny. And they brought this out, and I had one come through class yesterday. And I got a chance to run some of my own 380 rounds through it. I asked the student, and they said, sure, yeah, no problem. I said, I just want to get a feel for this. It's not horrible. Does it have the best trigger on the planet? No, but it's not bad. It's better than like a Glock trigger, a stock Glock trigger. It does fit the hand. The longer grip does fit the hand. It'll stick out below my pinky or just even, and if you put the little extended mag on it, it'll go below. So it doesn't feel absolutely horrible. I don't know that I'm super impressed with it, but what I'm picking up is we are going to bigger guns a little bit. We are going to larger guns. Like look at this. Let's talk about the SIG P365 when it came out, right? It came out, the SIG P365. It was a small gun. Small guns were all the rage, right? And then it did what? It changed to the X. I'm going to have this out of order, but they came out with the SIG P365X. It was a little bit bigger, right? Then we came out with and it had a different trigger. Then we came out with the SIG P365 XL, right? Size-wise, maybe close to the same, but a little difference. And then they went to the SIG P365 X Macro. And it was much bigger. It's not huge, it's not a full-size gun, but it's a lot bigger gun. And then they went with the SIG P365 Fuse is the latest and greatest, right? And it's about the same. It's a little different, some texture differences, some grip differences, but it is as big as the X Macro. And they had just started getting larger again. These firearms are starting to get bigger again. So it's just fun to watch the market and kind of what's in and what's out. And when somebody does something, of course, everyone else has to kind of like jump in there, unless you're Glock and you're just going to be ugly and horrible for the remainder of your life. You just are. Glocks are boring. Glocks are horrible. We'll tell them that they do run. I mean, they do function. I'll give them that. I don't like to shoot them. I don't like the triggers in them. And maybe it's just me. If you like Glocks, fantastic. Good for you. Pin a rose on your nose. Whatever. It doesn't matter to me. But like Glock is the same over and over. I like innovation. I like things to change a little bit. I like to watch things get small. And then a change. Like these guns, they've gotten smaller and smaller and smaller, and now they're starting to get bigger and bigger and bigger and get closer to like full size type carry. Which, in all honesty, I think everyone should carry a closer to full size type gun. I think it's possible. It depends on the holster you use. It depends on how you carry, and it can be done. And like I've said 1,000 times on the show, carrying a gun should be what? Carrying a gun should be comforting, not comfortable. And I believe that wholeheartedly. And I see that in a lot of my permit classes. People come on with little guns that they're just miserable to shoot. And they think they're going to be fantastic, and they're not. And they end up borrowing one of our guns, which is fine, in the class to shoot. And they end up borrowing a larger framed gun, and they're able to shoot it better than that little one. And then they realize that, hey, I might have made a mistake. So, like I said, little guns have their place, but man, I just don't think they're it. I really don't think they are. If you look at other firearm manufacturers, you look like the Canik. The Canik has good guns. They really do. They got great guns. They got all different sizes. And a few years back, they came out with the Meta, right? The Meta SC or whatever they call that thing. And it's a decently sized gun. It's not tiny, but it's not full size per se, but it's still a decently sized guns, and they sell the crap out of those. They really do. They sell the crap out of those guns. And I think people want a full size or a close to full size gun. I just think people are learning, and I just don't think little guns are quite where it's at anymore. And I think the market is changing a little bit. So after saying all that, SHOT Show is next week, and I'd be really curious to see what is new on the market, what is people are talking about, what these different firearm manufacturers are bringing about. And I will be keeping an eye closely on the Stealth Arms booth, because I want that G19 size platypus really bad. I'm looking for that. Another rant I have, by the way, like I don't mind ordering things online. I'm looking for Glock magazines. G17 Glock factory Glock magazines. I've got some Magpul stuff, and that's fine, but I want to put these mag extensions on them, and the ones that I have purchased and have in my sweaty little hands will only fit on a stock Glock magazine. So I need G17 Glock factory Glock magazines, and they have to be in black. I don't want brown. I need it in black. Do you know how freaking hard it is to find those where I live? I have gone to Sportsman's Warehouse. I've gone to DB's. I've gone to a bunch of different stores just to see if they had them in stock. The peg on the aisle is empty, where the spot where they should be is empty. Like, who's buying all these? Or are they just not getting them? Is there something with, I'm not a big Glock guy, so there's something with Glock magazines and that I don't understand, that people are struggling to keep them in stock? I mean, what is it? I have found them at one place and they were brown. I'm not buying a brown and putting a blue extent. I'm just not. I'm going to get a little snobby, and I want my gun to look good, and I just don't think baby crap brown's going to look good with a bright metallic blue mag extension. So I know I can go online and I can order them, and I probably should have done that 2 weeks ago. But it's like, geez, I can't believe I can't find these stupid things in town. Like this is ridiculous. It's a Glock. They're supposed to be Glock parts all over the place. I'm telling you right now, they aren't out there, not at least local to me. Now, if I went up north to Boise, I could probably find some at Shields or Bass Pro or Cabela's or whatever the hell we got up there. But I stay away from Boise. Hell, I stay away from Twin as much as I can. I try to stay relatively close to home. I don't like to go out and about too much. I am looking here. So I am planning on this year. I've dedicated. It's kind of a gun show, right? But it's also kind of a what is Todd doing type of show. And I am planning this year on going out and spending a lot more time with my 11-year-old. I got 5 kids total. I got one child. My last son, my youngest son. He's 11. He's still at home now. We busted out some fishing poles and stuff last year and purchased some things. And I'm teaching him how to fly fish. And, of course, I like to run, and so we are going to take some running/hiking adventures up to some mountain lakes, up in the Sawtooth National Forest and some different places like that, to go up to these lakes, make some day trips to fish, and come back out. And it's going to be fun, and I obviously will be armed when I do so. I am. I was looking, and I was thinking, so what is a good firearm for, and I know the answers to these. I'm just kind of asking them out loud, and then I'm going to answer them. Explain my thinking process. And I'm like, I'm going to be out there. What might I run into? Like, I don't think a wolf's going to bother me, but let's talk about the predators that might be in the woods. Whether or not I'm going to see them or not, let's just talk about it. We have wolves. We have mountain lions. We could have a moose. They're out there. We could have a bear. And then, of course, you have 2-legged predators, which they're just freaking everywhere anyway. So you want to be prepared. And I want to be prepared for more than just 2-legged predators. So, okay, Todd's going to take a gun. What do I own? A bunch of 9mm, right? Yeah, I got a little .357 revolver, a small one, right? Yeah, it's not cool, though. It's a Taurus. It functions, and it needs parts, by the way. So it will just say it is down for the count and has been for like 10 years. I'm just too lazy to purchase the parts I need. So I was poking around. I was like, well, maybe this calls for a new firearm. Okay, so what'd be the best caliber to take out there? Well, there's always a 10mm. I could buy a 10mm. Most of the 10 mils I know, they're big, heavy, bulky guns. They just are big, heavy, bulky firearms. Okay, so that's an option, but it's a weight thing too. I'm not just hiking. My goal is to run a little bit. And I'll be carrying fishing gear, and anyhow, it's a whole process. So we'll set that to the side a little bit. So what else is out there? Well, I could get a 44 mag. Like, that'd be cool. Like, who doesn't want a 44 mag, right? Yeah, but then I look around and I start looking at these revolvers, and I don't have to spend this much, but I found a Colt Python, right? 44 mag, like, wonderful. It's their combat, like, elite series. it's a large chunk of change. You know, I wouldn't buy it just for that. I buy it because it's cool and I want to shoot at other places. But it's there, like it's an option, but it's still a pretty big, heavy revolver. I could go and buy another revolver that is just .357. That'd probably work. That would probably be okay. I already have one. It's broken. I guess I could fix it if I wanted to. But then I got to talking to Magnum, and he pointed out, and I got to do a little more research on this, that there is a company, and I believe, unless he's talking about a different company, he just talked about the round, that they make a 9mm, what they consider 9mm bear load. And I think it's by, you know, we've all heard of them, Buffalo Bore Ammo, right? So I looked them up last night, and they make a hard cast bullet. It's not a hollow point. It's a hard cast bullet. It's not lead, and it's made for doing what? It's made for bears. It's made for that kind of stuff. It's made to get through, to penetrate. Now, I'm not going to use this for normal self-defense, right? This is you know, these are mountain loads, right? And they're made to penetrate, you know, big, thick hides, big, thick skulls, go through, break bones. I mean, that's what they tout. And I read a bunch of reviews on this of people that have actually been in Alaska and used them on bears, and they do the job. And I'm looking to possibly just taking one of my 9s, right? Taking one of my 9mm. Now it's a plus P round. It's not a plus P plus. So they say that the plus P rounds will you know, they're going to run in most of your regular 9mm handguns, where some of those handguns maybe won't be rated for plus P plus. So this will work. So I'm thinking about, you know, buying 2 or 3 boxes of these, doing some tests, shooting them, and picking one of my guns that I already have. It's fascinating. I guess I never dug deep enough to know that a 9mm, quote, air quotes, I'm with my fingers here, bear rounds even existed. So I'm quite excited to kind of check those out. I don't know. I'm trying to think, what gun would I take? I don't know. I don't know. I'd love to have my HK-CC9 by then. That'd be the perfect size to take, really. My wife's got that 365 macro, but I'm not allowed to touch it. I don't know. I don't know which gun I'd take. I don't know, but 9mm. I think I'm going to invest the money in some of those rounds instead of an actual new firearm. Because I got plenty of I got a list of firearms, about 4 or 5 firearms deep right now that I want to get this summer. And I just, honestly, I'd love to buy them all, but I don't want to add another one to the list. So I might get some of this ammo, check it out. Maybe I'll take a trip to the grocery store, buy a bunch of gelatin, and I'll make my own version of ballistic gelatin, and I'll shoot at it. I've done that once before. It was a freaking mess. I'm going to tell you that much right now. It is a mess. It is a pain in the butt to make. I really didn't enjoy it, but it was kind of fun to shoot at it. You know, it lasted a whole 10 minutes, but it was fun, and that is something that I would consider doing. If I do, you'll see some videos, I'm sure. So every year, I'm kind of excited because every year I kind of try to improve the range a little bit. Now, I haven't done any dirt work or anything like that. God, I really need to. Right now, it's really hard to get dirt. Obviously, it's the middle of winter. Stuff's frozen, stuff's muddy, and dirt's really expensive. And you don't really want to buy it when it's wet. So so I don't know what I'm doing. I'm probably not going to dig my range out anymore this year. But as of right now, I'm changing some stuff up. So I've every year I try to buy a few more steel targets. I got a great deal on a bunch of steel poppers. You know, this kind of like resetting themselves. I put a post on Facebook and Instagram. You can check it out there if you want. So I'm really kind of looking forward to those. I got a bunch of them. I ordered a whole bunch. I got like 9. I got like a bunch more coming. I'm going to spend the week going through making up actual racks. I want to make like an actual plate rack. Okay. So I'm going to be busting out the carpenter tools. I don't think I'm going to make them all out of metal. I can change out wood and stuff really easy. Try to figure out a base for them, get them all set up, and just kind of run with it. I'm looking forward to those. Those will be really fun. I'm also looking into possibly a moving one or two moving type targets for the range as well that I can use in different scenarios. We'll see how that goes. Always trying to improve. Always trying to get better. I did want to touch base a couple more things actually. I had a kids defense class this weekend. It was kind of a special request. You can see videos and stuff on social media. I posted them early this morning. But this kids defense class was kind of one of the ladies that is in my women's groups. Like we do a women's like defense class during that group, and I've done separate women's defense classes where there's really no weapons involved. There's kind of in one of them, but no weapons involved. Typically had a stomp, kick, hit, pressure point, all that stuff, right? And one of the women approached me afterwards and said she wanted to put together something for a bunch of kids. And so we set it all up, and they showed up, and we had to tone down some of the stuff we talked about a little bit. Magnum did, but it was an absolutely fantastic class. We had we had one boy, and the rest were girls. There was mostly the ages were anywhere from 10 to 13. We had a couple older girls, 16, 17 years old there, and that class went off without a hitch. Like it was a fantastic class. They were all kind of, it's really fun to watch these kids and women and anyone at all. But in this class happened to be girls, young girls, become empowered. They were kind of timid at first. And then they learned that, hey, look, if someone tries to snatch me, like I can fight back. I can kick, I can fight, I can scratch, I can do whatever. And to teach them that and kind of open them up to the possibilities of them being able to defend themselves. Hopefully they never need to, but that they can. It was a fantastic class, and I think we got more of those coming up in the future. I got to sit down and run some scheduling stuff this week and see what we can make happen. So, yeah, if you're interested in that and you're local and you got some kiddos, keep an eye out for that because there'll be some of those coming. Hopefully, some more coming up in the spring and the summer. I just gotta make it happen, I guess, and pick a day. So we'll look forward to those. Great class, by the way. My shins are a little sore, and they whacked me in the head more than once. And I had shin pads, guards on. I had a padded helmet on, and I was after class yesterday. I was pretty well rocked. My shins hurt. I had a headache. Like it was a thing. Like being the dummy that they beat up is not for the faint of heart. I'm just going to tell you that right now. So they got in the moment. They were vicious. They were mean. It was fun. What else I want to talk about? Oh, some changes to Patriot Defense this year. Always changes every year, trying to change, trying to improve. And this year maybe it's time. I've sat back and it's time for Todd to quit being a nice guy. When I started this business, I want to I wanted to be friendly. I wanted to be that business owner that I wished everyone was. I've been too nice. I've let things slide for far too long. And I know everyone thinks I have too, but it's just me. I want to be nice. And I think that's benefited my business up to a certain point. And then when I say this, I'm not picking on everyone. I'm not picking on anyone specifically, but there's just always a handful of people every year that tend to make appointments, right? They schedule classes, and I'll be waiting. I'll be set up. I'll come out. I'll set up. I don't, they schedule like 2 hours, and they decide, and so they decide that's when they want to do it. So we schedule it and all that good stuff. And sometimes I have multiple classes, or quite often I have multiple classes throughout the day, right? Or even if I don't, I still have other stuff that I could be doing to be productive, right? But I set up this 2 hours. I come out, I get the classroom ready, I get the range ready, depending on the type of class, and I start to wait. And there's been a bunch of times where people just don't show up. I don't get a call, I don't get a text, they just don't show up. And that's all. I don't take money until the end of the class. That's the way I do it, and maybe I need to change that as well. That's something I could look into as well. But that's just, that's on me. That part's on me when they don't show up. It's irritating as heck, and it's fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. And trust me, it's been shame on me a lot because I've had it happen multiple times by the same people. But what really is bothering me is when people text me and they say, I'm going to be about 15 minutes late. I'm going to be about 30 minutes late. I hope that's okay. I'm on my way. Sure. No, that's fine. At this point, I'd rather you just reschedule the class and I'll carry on with something else, right? That's because that's how I feel. But if that happens, and if that's you, and this is just going out to the general public, okay, who might take my classes from me, I'm going to start putting my foot down, and I'm going to offer that up. When they text me and they say, I'm going to be late, I'm going to say, okay, well, here's what you need to understand. You signed up for a 2-hour class. Now, and if you're 30 minutes late, now you're going to get an hour and a half class, but it's still going to cost you. You are still paying for the 2 hours. I mean, that's the way it's going to work. I have to do that now. I have not raised prices in like 6 years. Look around. Not raised prices. Excuse me. I haven't raised prices. We're going to talk about that in a minute. But I'm giving in too much. Right. I want to be friendly. I want to be helpful. And a lot of times in the past, what I would do is, you're in half an hour late. That's okay. We'll still give you your 2-hour class. I have a life. I have family. I've got other classes. I've got things to do. I would never dream of doing that to someone. When I show up, I am there on time. If I'm late, I still pay for it. Like that's what I believe in, right? This person took time, even though it's their business, they set that side of time for me, right? So if I'm late, that's my time. I'm still going to pay for it. And I'm going to start requiring that because I know everyone's like, you should have done that a long time ago. I'm just been overly nice. And that's the way I am. That's the type of person I am. And I can't do that anymore. I can't. This is becoming more and more and more of a thing where people are like 15, 20, 30 minutes late. I'm so sorry. That's what I get, right? Now, we don't ever talk about what's going to happen. Why? Because I'm a pushover, and I typically will go, okay, your class is at 1. You're scheduled from 1 to 3, so you got here at 1:30. So we'll go and we'll just go till 3:30 now, just so you can get your 2 hours in. I'm not doing that anymore. I'm not. I'm kind of been a pushover up till now, really. And that's gonna end. Now let's talk about price increases. I have not raised my prices in probably 6 years. And the price of everything has gone up. And I have just been reluctant to do it, resisted it for quite a bit. Well, you know what? It's costing me a lot more to do business now. It is a lot more to do business now. Insurance has gone. Everything's gone up. Taxes have gone up. And fuel has gone up. None of this stuff. I don't care who you voted in. I don't care that Trump's going to be president. I could be totally wrong, but I don't see any of this coming down. Stuff coming down in price anytime soon. I just don't think it is. And so I have made the decision to actually raise my prices, not on all my classes. I've made the decision to raise my prices on at least my private classes. The permit classes are still $95 a person for the 8-hour class. I'm not going to touch those as of right now. We'll see what changes in the future, but for the rest of the year, this year's just begun, we're still going to stick that at $95 a person, just like they have been for many, many, many years. But my private classes, I used to be at $100 a person for 2 hours. That is now bumped to $130 a person for 2 hours. I know that seems like a significant bump, and it kind of is, but I have not raised my prices in a long time. Now, the prices for my shooting academies, we're going to just keep those right where they're at, and that's $400. Any other classes that I have coming up, I don't typically have any regular classes that I do all the time. So I will make sure whatever I bring out for this summer will be priced out accordingly. And it is what it is. Like I said, I do lots of things that I don't need to do. One of them being is a lot of times, not all the time, but a lot of times I will help people by, oh, we're still here, we're still shooting, or that gun didn't work for you. Here, use one of my guns and use some of my ammo, right? And that ammo goes away, and I should charge for that. Some people pay for it. Some people say, can I pay you for that? Or they insist, and that's fine, and I will take money for that. If not, I just want you to have an enjoyable class, and that is, I end up paying for that, and I'm okay. I mean, that's me. I want people to have an enjoyable time and learn and keep learning. So I don't always charge for that ammo, and they don't offer, and I'm okay with that. So I have got to make this. I can't just keep doing stuff like this over and over and over again. I've got to make that money up somewhere. I really do. My time is worth something. I know no one has told me that it is not. But my time is worth something, and so those prices slowly have to go up. And I don't want to do it. Like, this is something that I've been thinking about for 2 years. And I've been taking it in the shorts and eating it for 2 years. It's time I have to raise my prices. Now, I honestly don't think it's going to affect anything as far as I don't think it's going to slow people down from taking classes, because I've been super reasonable, and that's what I get all the time is, oh my God, that's super reasonable. I'm like, yeah, it's super reasonable. If I lived anywhere else, this private class would be like $300. I'd be charging you like $150 an hour. Like, that's just the way it goes. I can't get away with that here, but it's time for the prices to increase. So I want to say it kind of saddens me to tell you that I have to raise those prices on those private type classes. But we'll see what happens. Now, if you're listening to this and you're like, hey, Todd, we scheduled a class. It's not going to be till like next month. Anything that I've already previously scheduled, we're not raising that price. That price will stay the same. And I'm making note as I schedule stuff what prices they're going to be at. But just kind of throwing it out there. It is going to change unless you've got something locked in. And this started for me. This started last week. So last Monday. So there you go. There it is. But I tell you what, I do appreciate everyone listening to the podcast. Thank you for listening to me kind of rant a little bit here. Sometimes I rave. Sometimes mostly I rant. Mostly I just whatever. It's a word vomit. That's all these podcasts are. But I appreciate everyone listening. Share it with your family. Share it with your friends. If you got any comments or questions, you can get a hold of me by calling me, or you can text me. Area code 620-794-6223. It's area code 620-794-6223. And like I mentioned on the last podcast I did, I am looking to possibly still put together an episode about Oregon carry laws. I had a gentleman who listened to the podcast reach out to me and send me some information. I haven't checked it out yet. I'm going to check it out, see if it answers my questions. But I'm still going to put the same call out. If you are from Oregon, if you live in Oregon, and you can tell me the ins and the outs of the law as far as what you can and can't carry in that state now, I would love to hear from you. I'd love to get you on the podcast. Get in touch with me. I just threw my number. All the information will be in the show notes. So check it out. And everyone, have a great week. Bye.